All right, we're at Giga-Bites Cafe in Atlanta, Georgia. We're ready for another Dropzone Battle Report. This time we decided to do another outdoor map, so we've created this desert landscape with all these rocks and crystals. And we're playing a bunker assault mission, which is actually kind of an appropriate mission for an outdoor board. So we've got 5 bunkers here, there, over here. There's one right underneath that, which you can get at from both sides. Over there, and over there. The way this mission works, each bunker is a focal point. What that means in the Dropzone rules is that if you contest it, if you end the game with a ground unit of any sort within 6 inches, you get a point. If you control it, which means that you have more points worth of ground units than the other person, you get 1 additional point. And in this specific scenario, infantry count double if they're inside the bunkers. The bunkers are buildings, so they can be entered with infantry. The buildings are completely immune to falling masonry, but they're not immune to flame weapons. But we haven't actually taken any flame units in this game, so that won't really matter. I think that's about it for the mission description. We'll be right back with our army list. Here's my PHR list, 1,500 points. I'm getting ready to go play in the Las Vegas Open on February 21st and 22nd, I think. So, unfortunately, this list is kind of the same as I've been running in the last few battle reports. I promise once the LVO is open, I'll mix it up a little bit. But for now, same old list. Level 4 commander inside a Zeus with an Odin and a Neptune. Then I've got 2 Phobos and a Neptune and 2 Helios and a Neptune. Squad of Immortals with a Triton with miniguns and a squad of Helios and a Neptune. 4 Mercury Scout drones with no transports. 2 squads of Sirens, each in a Triton with no upgrades. And a Hades and a Poseidon.
Alright, so for my special group, I'm running Praetorians and a light dropship. Then I'm running regular infantry and a light dropship with a pair of longbows attached. Then an armored group with 6 tanks, 3 rapiers.
6 sabers, 3 rapiers.
Yeah. Yep. And then infantry battle group with a pair of APCs and more rapiers. Then a commander with some Wolverines, and then a single Seraphim in my air wing.
Here's our deployment. I've deployed my 4 Mercury drones, and we've got the scouts and the commander over here in the front. Start of turn 1, Brian has a commander on the board, so he had a huge advantage in the roll-off. He won, and the Seraphim bomber did not come out of reserve.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group. They moved their full distance. I've got the APCs over here and the AA over here. They are still on their dropships.
Alright, I activated my command group. I moved them on full distance over here.
Alright, so I activated my 2nd infantry battle group. Had the light dropships come up here and deploy the longbows. Then I had this one move its full distance, minus 2 inches for it to land. So it's landed and it's now on the ground.
I activated my armor group. I took my Phobos walkers. They actually deployed this turn on turn 1. And then over here, my 2 Helios skimmers stayed in their dropship and moved over by the commander.
I activated the special group. This is the Praetorian sniper team. They came in, moved their full distance, and they're still on the dropship.
Alright, I activated my infantry group. The Triton came on full here. It went to the deck, barely passed, rolled a 3. And so it's hiding down here. And then I also brought my 2nd Helios squad in over here. So I activated my scout group, just moved my Mercury drones forward a little bit, and then my 2 squads of Sirens are coming in here in these Tritons. And then finally, I activated my Hades, and it stayed in its dropship and moved up here. And if you're wondering why we did 2 of my battle groups back to back, Brian has decided to activate his armor group and keep it in readiness, which is an interesting choice. So we'll see how that goes. We forgot about his command group. Didn't really affect the outcome of the game, but here we go. Here's his command group.
Right, so the Wolverines that were here around this corner basically whipped around here, drew line of sight to the Phobos way over there, and called in an orbital strike from the Kodiak.
And did 1 damage to that Phobos. Yeah. Start of turn 2, Brian won the roll-off, and his Seraphim came out of reserve.
Alright, so I activated the special battle group, the Praetorian snipers. They deployed, and their dropship has landed.
Which was really smart, because I can't see the dropship now. I never would have thought to do that. I activated my armor group. We got the Phobos over here. Shot. They had a line of sight on his landed Raven over here, so they blew it up, but all the infantry survived. They disembarked. Then over here, I had my Helios move up and land, and they shot a stealth missile at the snipers with the digital ghillies. Actually managed to hit him, and then rolled a 1.
All right, so I activated my big infantry battle group, deployed my AA forward, and then deployed the APCs, and then the infantry have gone into the bunker.
All right, activated my scout group. Both of my Tritons went in here and dropped all their sirens off into that bunker. So there's now 4 bases of sirens in there. One of them went over here and used its last little bit of movement to land, and the thought was just to make it just a tiny bit harder for those rapiers to see it. Obviously, the snipers still have a clear shot. And then these guys were worried about getting shot up by the rapiers because they're up here easily in line of sight. So I wanted to keep them later in the game to contest a focal point. So I went to the deck with them to hide behind this rock, and one of them crashed.
Alright, so I activated my other infantry group. These guys, having crashed the previous turn, have now gone into the bunker. Their longbows over here have spotting from the Praetorian snipers way over here.
You can see them just visible through that gap.
And they took a pot shot at the damaged Phobos, got 1 hit, and was able to kill it.
Activated my command group. They moved forward, disembarked, and then I fired another stealth missile at the snipers and managed to hit one of the bases and do a damage.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group. I moved the Wolverines up, and they're kind of spread out along here. And then I had the Kodiak take a shot with the Praetorians calling in the shot. Managed to roll a hit, but rolled a 1 on the damage, so no damage.
Yep, got lucky there. All right, activated my infantry battle group. The infantry moved up, got inside the bunker, and then I figured the safest thing I could do would be to go to the deck, because this is actually over 2 inches tall, and that might keep me safe from his rapiers over here. So I went to the deck. He is on the deck. Then I also activated the Helios. They moved up, disembarked, and then the dropship took a speculative stealth missile shot and actually managed to kill one of the rapiers back there. Got very lucky.
Alright, so I just attempted to deploy my Seraphim, and it was busy doing something else, so it did nothing.
And his air controllers were in the bunker.
Of course, because in the bunkers there is no line of sight from the bunkers.
Alright, I activated my heavy group, moved up 6, took the Hades out, and I took a stealth missile shot at that one, hit it, and did no damage.
Alright, so I brought in my armor group and went ahead and deployed them.
Started turn 3. I won the roll for initiative because at the end of the turn I played a spy ring, so Brian had to roll with an initiative or a CV value of 1, and nobody played any cards. Just real quickly, during the cleanup phase, we initiated a couple CQBs, so we have this one going on in the bunker between the Legionnaires and the Immortals. And in that bunker, we don't really have any place to put all the guys, so we put them off to the side. We got 2 squads of Sirens and 2 squads of 3 bases of Legionnaires. All right, activated my armor group. My Phobos over here just moved and did not do anything, just saving their shots. The Neptune moved over here and went to the deck because I figured that was the best way to protect them against the rapiers over here. And then over on this side, I had my Helios kind of repositioned so they wouldn't be as easy to shoot from his tank block over there. They fired all their shots into the Praetorian snipers. Managed to kill 1 base, but just look at this roll over here. Check out this dice. This is my my damage roll. I needed 2s, 5 1s. This is enough to finish off the damage base, but that was it. And then the Neptune fired a shot and blew up the Raven that was parked over here. It had a hold down shot, but I managed to hit it on a 5-up, and then moved backwards and went to the deck.
Alright, so I had to move one of the bases to get into coherency. So one base cannot shoot. The other base shot and shot at this Triton and missed.
Rolled a 1, needed a 2.
Yeah.
And also, before that happened, he tried to use a secret entrance card to get into that bunker over there, and I espionaged it, so that couldn't happen. All right, I activated my infantry group. The infantry here are the aggressors, so they just do nothing. This dropship went to the deck and scooted around here, and it's now just sitting on top of his longbows. and this dropship fired at the rapier that was here, and it did not do anything. It backed up. The Helios moved around a little bit, and they shot all 12 of their shots at this rapier and killed it.
All right, so I activated my infantry battle group, had the rapier shoot the Helios, did 1 damage. It then retreated. Then I had its Condor go and land in front.
And the pilot is running away.
Exactly.
Getting out of there.
Then this also started the CQB bunker. It was pretty bloody. As you can see, both my Legionnaire units got completely wiped out.
And he actually did relatively well considering the odds, and he killed 6 sirens. Do you not have? All right, activated my scout group, moved the Mercury drones out just a little bit, and the goal here was to get a line of sight to something over there. And just through this notch here, I can just see his Wolverine if I go from 6 inches off right there. And then I had the sirens. They just fought in the C2B, and their transports both went to the deck and are just hiding in that notch away from his snipers and his rapier there.
Alright, so I activated my command group, had the Wolverine snake up. They were a little short on range to get to the Phobos, but they had line of sight. So the Kodiak called it in and took it out.
I even used a white nanomachine card on it and failed my passive, so oh well. Alright, so I activated my Hades. I used the spotting of this dropship over here to target the longbows over the hill. I didn't have a scout unit shooting them, so I needed a 4+, but I hit it, and I killed both longbows with the black nanomachines. Then I used the miniguns and 2 railgun shots to kill the Condor, and 1 railgun shot on the rapier, which managed to kill it. Got lucky on that, and then moved up. And then the Poseidon flew over here 9 inches, and then killed the lead Wolverine with a stealth missile.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group. Now that the longbows are destroyed, the Ravens have redeployed. They took the shots at the Hades, hit it, but rolled once for damage. And then that initiated the CQB. I lost half my dudes. Cameron only lost 2, but they're both still locked in close combat.
Alright, activated my command group. These guys moved up here, fired all of their rail cannons and miniguns, and managed to blow up a base of snipers there. This dropship fired a stealth missile, didn't do anything, and went to the deck.
So I brought in my Seraphim, and after a lot of debate, decided to go for the Hades. Hit it on a 6, rolled a 1 on the damage, so no effect. Alright, so I decided to redeploy my armor with their dropship, and I moved the sabers forward. And then the rapiers, I left them on the ground and just had them drive forward. So these guys have redeployed out of the dropship a little bit closer.
All right, start of turn 4. I lost the roll-off, but then I played a central HQ directive, and I won the re-roll. I played Adaptive Camouflage on my Helios over there. No reserves to roll for. And that's pretty much it. Activated my heavy group. Hades activated. Fired black nanomachines at the Wolverine over here, but actually completely missed, so did nothing. And then he spaced his guys really well so that I actually couldn't get a strafe set up because there were no 2 visible models that were within 3 inches of each other. So I just fired 3 shots at the lead tank and blew it up. And I moved the Poseidon around here and shot a Wolverine and killed him.
I moved my Wolverines around. Take a shot at the Hades. They both hit, but they did no damage. And they spotted for the Kodiak, which missed.
Activated my infantry group. They're the aggressors here, so they just don't do anything. Their transport walked around the corner just to get some line of sight. The 2 Helios went up here and blew up the 2 Ravens that were sitting there. And their dropship came up behind them, but was just a little bit out of range to shoot that Wolverine.
Activated the snipers. They took a shot at the Helios, did nothing.
Activated my command group. The walkers and the dropship finished off the last base of snipers, and they repositioned slowly.
Alright, so I had my sabers fire at the Hades, managed to do 2 points of damage to it.
3 points.
Sorry, 3. And then I had one of my rapiers at line of sight to this guy, so shot it and did 1 point of damage to it.
Alright, I activated my armor group. The transport for the Phobos went around here and shot at the Wolverine and missed. The 2 Helios over here came around the corner, fired at some sabers, managed to kill 1, and their dropship went to the deck and went back here.
Brought the Seraphim in, and it managed to hit and managed to do 2 points of damage to the Hades.
Activated my scout group. The Tritons are just hanging out here, and my drones move back towards the bunker.
Bravest guy in this game is the UCM pilot that flies the Condor because it just landed in front of the bears. Alright, so I activated this battle group. I played Op 4 training, which basically doubled the number of dice I had from 5 to 10. And I still only managed to kill 2 of his guys, and he wiped out all of mine.
All right, start at turn 5. I won the roll off, and that's really it. All right, activated my heavy group. Hades walked up, repaired itself. The left chain gun shot the Condor for 2 damage, and the rail gun managed to kill 1 saber over there. And then its transport went around the corner and shot a Wolverine and missed. Activated my armor group. The transport for the Phobos worked its way around here, shot the Wolverine, couldn't damage it. And the 2 Helios skimmers were here. They shot all their shots at 1 saber, killed it, and then went back around the corner to make it back towards this focal point on the next turn.
Alright, so I activated my armor battle group. The AA moved forward, shot that 1 drop ship. It crashed, landed on these walkers, but it didn't do any damage to them. And then I fired my last 2 remaining tanks at the Hades, did 1 more point of damage, then scooted them around, and then I landed the Albatross in the canyon to block line of sight.
And I also played a white nanomachine card, and it did nothing. Activated infantry group. You're hanging out here. They're good. Helios moved up here, saved their shots to try to take out the Seraphim. Their dropship moved up here and killed a Wolverine.
Alright, so I brought my Seraphim in. He fired all of his AA at it. Managed to get only 2 hits, but did no damage. Then I fired, and I hit, and did no damage. No, actually, I missed.
No, you just rolled a 1.
Yeah, I just straight up missed.
Activated my command group. They inched forward 2 inches, and they had an angle on that rapier, and the Odin blew it up. Activated my scout group, and the drones just consolidated on this one. Started turn 6. I won the roll-off again. It's been a really bad initiative game for Brian, and no cards or anything interesting. All right, activated my heavy group. The Hades used all of its shots to kill the 2 bears and the Condor here. It strafed the bears with the rail cannon because you could see over the Condor, and then shot the Condor with the minigun. Actually got lucky, blew them all up despite having 2 damage points on each bear, and so that way he can't contest this focal point, and it moved into that little notch. Poseidon over here killed the last Wolverine.
Activated the command group. The Kodiak took its shot. It did hit, and it did 1 point of damage, so Hades has got 2 damage points left.
Activated the infantry group. Infantry chilling, and the 2 Helios just moved up here, saving their shots for the Seraphim.
Alright, so I tried to move my armor unit, and he dry packed them, so the AA stayed in place. The 2 remaining tanks took their pot shots at the Hades, got 1 damage on it, and then went creeping a little bit closer to the objective.
Alright, activated my command group. They moved up a little bit to get a better angle and shot the front 2 sabers here and killed the front one.
Alright, so the Seraphim came in and he shot his entire AA on it, managed to damage it, put 1 damage point on it, and then I was able to finally take down the Hades.
So I activated my armor group. The old Phobos transport came up here and shot the Kodiak just for fun. Couldn't kill it this turn, obviously. Didn't do any damage. And the 2 Helios came over here so they could contest the focal point. All right, we're at the end of the game. Just a quick recap. This is kind of a one-sided one. I got 2 points for getting that bunker, and this is according to the new FAQ that Hawk Simon put out. Mercury drones can actually contest focal points in addition to counting towards who wins them. So those Mercury drones alone got me 2 points there. Infantry over here holding down that bunker, 2 points. I got all my sirens in there and the skimmers, that's 2 points. I controlled this focal point over here, 2 points. Yes, that's nothing on there for me, that's 8. And then for him, Brian contested that one, that's 1 point. And if this was a tournament, he could have moved his Kodiak over and contested that and claimed that one actually for 2 points. But I mean, he just wanted to kill my Hades, so he left it in place and took that last shot. So that's pretty much it. 8 to 1, I guess. Thoughts on this? Just, you know, the outdoor map. I loved the board. thought the board was a lot of fun.
I definitely like the board. You need to do more of the outdoor maps and whatnot. It actually worked fairly well as far as blocking line of sight and whatnot.
Yeah.
Not having destructible terrain is also kind of interesting. The mission was pretty lopsided. Once I got into CQB and lost all my infantry by turn 3, it was all downhill from there. I didn't stand a chance. So the only real question was going to be how much of my armor group was he going to destroy before he destroyed my before I had a chance to destroy the Hades. That became the rest of the mission for me, to see if I could destroy the Hades.
And you did.
Yeah, I had a slight possibility that something was going to survive, that I'd be able to at least contest one of the other focal points. That didn't work out well, as you can see. The only thing I have left on the board is the Kodiak, 1 saber, and 2 rapiers, and
an albatross.
An albatross, which doesn't contribute to the focal points.
So yeah, I think I distributed my infantry correctly based on where he went, and I was able to delay my activations to make him make the first move for where he was placing his infantry. So I was able to get good matchups in both those bunkers. And then the fact that I was able to espionage his secret entrance card over here was pretty huge, because he would have put all 3 of those Praetorian snipers into the bunker, which would have scored for them. And then he could have brought that whole tank block over and really probably won that, because he could have gotten out of line of sight from the Hades if he kept them all in the aircraft. As it was, he couldn't get the snipers in there, so they were kind of stuck on top, and I slowly whittled them down, and he decided to engage the Hades, and he did kill it, but took a bunch of losses on the tanks over there in the process. But in terms of, I'm trying to decide on my list for the tournament, I think I'm going to go with this one, because I do like having that level 4 commander, just for being able to go first. It really matters a lot when you have CQBs going on. PHR have good cards, and that other list I tried out in my last battle report, which for people who didn't watch it, was very similar to this list, but had a lower level commander and then 4 squads of immortals and no squads of sirens. So what I'd worry about with that list is just that I'd run into some exotics, and I just wouldn't have any answer for them with all my immortals. And then I'd also have a lot of trouble winning objective missions, because I'd always be the aggressor and I'd never be able to get into the buildings first. So I'm pretty sure this is the list I'm going to stick with for the LVO, and maybe get one more week of practice in next weekend. But anyway, thoughts on your list? Thoughts on tactics, or
just a couple of things.
Just with this situation,
throughout the game, I should have had a couple of mismatches. One of which is I knew that Hades, wherever it was going to be, I was trying to avoid it. And in a focal point mission, that Hades is a huge deal. I didn't really want to fight it, but when it became clear that I was not going to win this game, the only thing I cared about was killing the damn thing. The Praetorian snipers actually did fairly well for the first turn or two, because they are scouts and they were able to draw a line of sight. They were able to allow the Kodiak to make a couple of shots. That and the Wolverines being able to pop out a few rounds helped. It would have been better if I hit every time I shot, and it would have been better if I'd actually damaged. The Praetorians actually survived out in the open a little bit longer than I thought. UCM command cards have been pretty terrible for me.
Yeah, and they're even more terrible when I don't have any interceptors and there's no buildings.
Yeah, there were. I got a bunch of cards that did me no good whatsoever, like getting a call for extraction after all my infantry's already dead, the ability to not have be intercepted when there's no interceptors, calling upon the resistance to assist me after all my infantry's already dead. So it just went on, and then every single turn, everyone played a card that had some use, like black nano machines, white nano machines,
drive hack.
It just went on and on and on. Losing the infantry early on, losing the longbows fairly early. The longbows had a slight chance that they could have put some more damage on the Hades. Might have, if you kill it early enough, fast enough, some of my armor could have survived. But yeah, that Hades is just a brute. And your options are to either put your entire army into destroying it, or to just let it own a portion of the board. And when it's owning, a focal point mission, it's owning that focal point. That's all there is to it.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's about it for me in terms of thoughts. I was pretty happy with how the list played, obviously. Another announcement, I will be the tournament organizer for Nova Open, where Nova Open will be having Dropzone Commander Tournament for the first time in its history. Nova Open will be on Labor Day weekend, September 5th, the weekend of September 5th this year. It'll be up in Arlington, Virginia, which is right outside of D.C., and if anyone wants to come to a Dropzone tournament, you should come. Hawk Simon will be there. We'll be having 2 days of tournaments. The first day of tournament will be a 3-round, just sort of normal game point tournament. And then the top 4 from that tournament will be going to day 2, where they'll have a semifinals and a finals. And everybody else will be participating in a big linked narrative campaign where we'll have multiple battles that all feed into the larger story of an operation that's part of Reconquest. So I'm really excited for that. Everyone should sign up for that. Love to see you all there. NovaOpen.com. And I'll post some more information at the end of the video. Anyway, thanks for watching.